Hey everybody, welcome back. Today, I'm totally copying someone else's card. I'm going to do this card right here. Kate Digginen, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but she's design team for Brutus Monroe. She used their wood grain stencil and then the sunflowers from the Fall Florals kit. Now I don't have a wood grain stencil, however, I do have this lovely wood grain 3D embossing folder. I also have the wood grain cardstock, but I wanted to do this. So I'm going to emboss this on what's left of this brown cardstock and ink over it a little bit. So that will be my background rather than this. But everything else is going to be the same. So what do you say we just jump into it? First things first, emboss the cardstock. Okay, seriously, look at that. Oh. Now I'm going to use finger daubers instead of the big foam on a handle. I think it's going to be easier for me to deal with. And regular distress ink, not oxide. And I'm going to ink over this with Vintage Photo and then a little ground espresso for some darker spots. And I'm not worried about my color being super even or anything because this is an old, distressed piece of wood. So if it wants to be a little cray-cray, it can be a little cray-cray. There we go. Look at that. Over that knot, a little extra there. All right, so there's Vintage Photo. Do a little ground espresso. Now this is much darker. Oh, look at that. Yes. That's turned out cool. Over this knot, a little extra there. And I might go back in with a little more Vintage Photo. Now, ordinarily, I would trim this card panel down with waffle flower dies. However, I don't want to take the risk of flattening this at all. So I'm going to trim it with paper trimmer and then probably glue it down with Bear Glue. There, I think that is awesome. Look at that. Here's our panel all trimmed down, and I inked the edges once I trimmed it. And we're just gonna use a little Bear Glue and put this on the card front. And I'm using Bear Glue because this is very textured. And I want to be very sure that it's stuck. Just extra safety. I blew my finger. this. Okay, let's flatten that down. Let's set this under Misty for a minute. Now we need 3 sunflowers. Kate has 3 sunflowers on her card. And I have the dies out because we're going to cut them out. 3 lovely sunflowers. All right, which way can we go? This way. Jet black archival, of course, because that's how I roll. Lovely. I don't need to second stamp that. Put that one there. Sidekick. Okay, this little cutie will fit through the sidekick. So let's get them out of their paper, and then we can die cut them. Whoop, whoop. Grandbabies are fun. All right, which way do you go, homie? Ah, there. I found it. Found it. There we go. And I think I'm going to watercolor with oxides for these. It'll be real quick, but it'll be very pretty. Oh, look at that. That's a lovely sunflower. Okay, and this one turned out well. I'll use this one. Let's find the spot. All right, numero dos. And number 3. All right, let's do a little quick watercoloring. So we've got mustard seed, fossilized amber, a little ripe persimmon for an orange. And this is just going to be real quick and dirty. Put down a little mustard seed first. I'm trying not to use a lot of water because this is not super heavy cardstock or anything. Oh, Pappy must have let the dogs out from nap time a little early because I hear Ginger whining because he went outside and left her in the house. That does not make her happy. She's got to be where you are. All right, we'll mustard seed all of them. And then we'll go in with the fossilized amber. And then the ripe persimmon. He's trying to get her to stop. She ain't gonna stop. That dog has no off button. The groomer thought Lucky didn't, and then she met Ginger. She was like, oh my. Yep, oh my indeed. More water. Mustard seed is probably in my top 5 of distress colors. I know I've said this before, but I will say it again. When I went to Ranger U in 2008 and met Tim, he made the comment that mustard seed was a great equalizer. And I'm like, as a bright yellow, you are on dope, dude. But he ain't wrong. If you do a distress inked background the old-fashioned way with your blender foams and stuff, and you don't like it, you run over that entire thing with some mustard seed and it fixes it. I don't know why, but it does. Okay, now we're gonna go fossilized amber. Just a little bit. Just like that. Very messy, very fast. Number 3. Then, all right, persimmon. I'm going to put that in the middle too and then do vintage photo over it. I think ripe persimmon's so pretty. I'm not really an orange girl. Like Spice Marigold was always my go-to orange in the past. I'm more definitely pink, like aqua. Okay, there's that one. Put that in the center. Does anyone out there watch She-Hulk? My husband's like hooked on it. And I was refusing to watch it because I was like, you know, no, that's stupid. Now you're ruining Hulk. But then, because he was off half of yesterday and all day today because of the hurricane, he was sitting there watching it last night while I was playing with the diamond painting. And I heard Mark Ruffalo's voice. And I'm like, well, I suppose if Ruffalo is going to have something to do with it, it can't be too bad, right? And it's actually, I don't know. I still don't like how they're changing the lore of it. Because it's, well, I don't want to spoil it, so I won't say anything. But it's pretty funny. And I will say that the chick who's playing the character of Jennifer, who is the one who hulks out, she's adorable. I do like her. I'm still not sold on the show, but it's not the travesty I thought it was going to be. So now for some vintage photo, because what do I say? Best brown in all land. Okay, I'm gonna put stickles in the centers of these flowers too. Kathy didn't, but I'm gonna, because I'm a stickles loving girl. I'm gonna go in with another layer. Oh, and Wong makes appearances in the show, so I'm like, well, you know, he's probably, and he's not like superhero, right? Because he's from the whole Doctor Strange thing, but he might be my favorite character in the MCU. I just love him. I don't know why, but I do. Okay, look at those. Oops. All right, so I'm gonna go hit these with the heat gun and wipe my desk off, and then we will continue with our card. Okay, so I got to thinking, Kate's background is metallic, but mine is not. However, you know I got a Daniel Smith gold watercolor, so let's do a little splatter splat. Yeah. There we go. Look at that. Brought the metallic into it. And oh, that looks really cool on that wood. Oh my. Okay. There we go. Sunflower. Now she added a leaf behind it. Some leaves behind it, but okay. All right, so Kate put some leaves in there, but I don't think I'm gonna do that. This kit came with ribbon, and I think I'm gonna use some of this ribbon. So let's open it up. And instead of leaves, we'll put some ribbon. How about that? About like that. And then we'll put some ribbon behind it. We'll put some tape runner on the back. Really hooch it up. And then put some green ribbon. Just gonna get this way right. We'll let the ribbon be there instead of the leaf stamps. And we're not gonna have them sticking way out, just a little bit. Oh. There we go, and then another leaf. That's what I'm calling the green ribbon, leaves. That one there. That's probably too far out, isn't it? There we go. Tape runner. And then this last green one. This last green one over here. I don't know why it feels like it needs it over there, but it does. That ribbon's all down. Now I want this to be popped up, and rather than put 5,000 foam squares behind there, I'm gonna use some of this fun foam. And we'll just layer it on. It'll help hold these ribbon pieces down too. see again from the front. Go about like this. Okay. And then bear glue on the foam. Do that way, up a little. All right, let's hold that down. Give it time to hook on. On her card, Kate used one of the foilable conversation clippings. Now, I don't have a Minker laminator, so I'm not foiling these, but just know that if you wanted to, you could totally foil these. So she used, let me see, have a lovely day. Oh, where is it? It's right there. Have a lovely day. Have a lovely day. There we go. I use the ink that's left on this dauber and just ink the edges up a little bit. Oh, I hear Ginger. Do you hear Ginger? Does the whole country hear Ginger? Okay. Have a lovely day. Hers goes over the flowers. Okay, I can do that. I don't think I want to put orange foam behind that sentiment though. And I want to use this since it's the same height as the flowers. So I don't have to try and layer foam squares and figure all that out because I'm not good at the figuring out. All right, let's get this. Come on, baby. Have a lovely day. Make sure that's gonna fit. I'll cut a little bit more of it off so I can move it in a little. Ah, there we go. Found the sweet spot. Okay, let's bear glue this baby. Got a little glue on the part that's going over the flower. And then obviously glue on the foam because this isn't adhesive foam. Hold it down for a sec, get it to grab. Okay, now Kathy did not have sequins. However, we all know that I am an over sequiner. So we're gonna have some sequins. And ooh, maybe a couple of hearts because I like the hearts too. So let's see. Ooh, a little bling bling. Yeah. There's some of the smoky happens. Put that down there. I think my doodle is at my door. What time is it? Oh. And then she just jumped on Pappy. Because I heard, get down. So let's start gluing. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp this inside with the Vintage Photo Distress, and I did not wipe the black off, so if some of it transfers, then I'm good with that, because it'll make it kind of two-toned. If that happens, it might not. It might be dry enough that it's not gonna. There we go. That way it's not plain in there, because you know, no naked insides. All right, last but not least, some stickles. Now I'm pulling out ye old Distress stickles. This is brushed corduroy. And I'm only gonna dot in the foremost one. And then we're gonna do some tea dye. That was a little more of a blob than I wanted. But that happens with Distress stickles. There we go. Alrighty, so here's my case. Case means copy and steal everything of Kate's card. Now, it's not an exact copy because, you know, our styles, I guess, are a little different. And I don't have that stencil. So I used the Tim Holtz lumber. Actually, I didn't put, what's this one called? Does it tell me? No. The Tim Holtz wood grain 3D embossing folder on the brown cardstock that came in this kit. And then I inked it with Vintage Photo and ground espresso. Splattered some gold watercolor on it. Painted my sunflowers with Distress Oxides. Got a little splatter on them too. Now where she had leaves, I used ribbon instead, and I used a little extra because what can I say? That's how I roll. Have a Lovely Day out of the foilable sentiment strips, and I added some bling. So what do you think? I mean, you know, not a complete copy, but close enough, right? I will, when I put this video up, I'll check the website and see if this kit is still for sale, and I'll put a link in the description. If the whole kit's not for sale, definitely the stamps and dies will be. So I'll put a link to the whole kit if it's there, and I'll put a link to the stamps and a link to the dies both separately. So, yep, that's it. Y'all have a lovely day, and remember, be excellent to each other and go make something. Bye-bye.